everyone. I wanted to take a few minutes and go through the notebooks with you. I know most of you have had these notebooks with me, but this is especially for those of you that have not done a notebook for me. So your basic ideas in your notebook is a lookbook for your client, that you want to show them your ideas for a particular historical room, that you will show them the fabric, show them the ideas for the furniture. Many people will approach this as if they're doing a set design for a movie. And so what I want to do is take a few minutes and go through some good books, and then also point out some things that might not be working or that I don't want you to do, and the name shall remain anonymous. Alright, so the first thing you want to have in your books is your letter to your client. So just a brief letter, you don't need to zoom in on this. Just a nice letter to your client if you want to use some letterhead, and then explain a little bit about what your ideas are for this particular client. Now, in essence, I am your client, and I like lots of stuff, over-the-top stuff, lots of fabrics, but do be careful that you pare down to some extent, that you don't give me every single fabric from a particular period, but rather, once I finish looking through your book, I have a really clear idea of what it is that you have in mind for the particular room. Alright, now this person has used really beautiful paper here, and that always makes it look nice for a client. And then the background of the period. Or some people will put their inspiration room. So let me have you focus in on this as the inspiration room. And this is for a Rococo interior, which would be our French Rococo in history too. So this is the inspiration room, and this will be a general room that you feel encapsulates what it is that you really want your client to have. This can be a bedroom, this can be a, well, it depends upon what history period you're taking. It could be a kitchen. I have had students do bathrooms, but I think you're probably best off with sticking with a living room or a bedroom or some other living space. All right, and then in the next few pages, you want to give your backdrop to the period. So this person has just written some information about the backdrop to the French Rococo period, and this is all explained very carefully in your syllabus, what I'm looking for. The socio-political backdrop, any important figures, what the design was like at the time. And some people will give me just an essay, but I think this is even nicer that they've interspersed some images within the essay. Now, you can use your class notes, you can use your research, just of course make sure that you do annotate your work if you're doing research from a book or from a website. I'm not real picky whether you want to use MLA style or Chicago style or whatever, but these books will ultimately serve as a resource for you in your future jobs. All right, then we're going to go on to the particular pieces that you want to use in the room. So for example, this person has chosen a chandelier first, and most importantly now, and you can stop focusing, there's some information written below. This, as is explained in your syllabus, is information about the piece itself, why it fits into the period, if it came from a museum, where it came from. And this is where most students lose points, is that they don't explain the item. Okay, and here she's taken a beautiful little Rococo table, and again notice, and that's good, notice that there's a lot of information down below. The name of the table, its maker, why this fits into the Rococo period. So for example, in our History 2 classes, the Rococo leg is the little cabriole leg. And then the plaques, the Sèvres plaques, point out those kinds of things of why this screams Rococo. And then just going through a few more pages, you see that this person has also brought in a sconce. As a matter of fact, some images from the Getty, this particular class required, which some of your classes will, you going to a particular museum and picking up pieces. And again, more Pieces of furniture, you want to have flooring, tapestries if that's appropriate to the period, wall treatments. Now, please don't bring me in any bricks if that's what your floor is going to be, but rather images. Sometimes people have brought me in actual pieces of tile. Please don't do that. These books get very heavy. Other decorative objects of the era. So for example, here are a couple of nice vases that fit into the era. And so furniture, flooring, decorative arts, wall treatments, draperies, so forth and so on.